When you think of the term unconditional love, what feeling or image comes to mind? Is this something that you are interested in attaining or having more of in your life? Well, if you're like most spiritually conscious and heart centered people, you would probably say, yes, of course, I want more unconditional love. And this is why I'm here, not to tell you why you should have it, but to talk about how maybe your approach is not supporting you in having the experience of love that you want for yourself in your relationships. Let me backtrack just a bit. A few years ago, I had a session with another healer. This lady was absolutely amazing. She supported me so much in seeing where I was not aligned with myself. And in our session, she pointed out something that I found interesting. She said, Lauren, it doesn't really look like you have boundaries. Is it okay if I send you some tools to assist you in having better boundaries? I said yes, even though I had no idea what she was talking about. I didn't know what boundaries were, and it turns out it's because I really didn't have any concept of them. And here's what I've learned since then. We live in a society where we're taught that self sacrifice and overgiving at the expense of ourselves is admirable. We're taught that really putting other people before ourselves is the way to go. And sometimes things like religion teach us that if we do this, then we're going to be rewarded. And myself then would be kicking me for saying that now because I was not a religious person at all. And I'm still not. But anyway, that's another topic. But back to unconditional love and how I didn't know what boundaries were. What unconditional love is, in my opinion, is love without boundaries. And this sounds and feels really good. It's like, okay, so I'm just going to love and love and love, and I'm not going to have an agenda, and I don't want anything in return for doing all of this, and it's great. It's awesome. I'm just going to do it because I want to. And I'm going to experience it through being it and doing it. And that works up until a point because even though our thoughts tell us, oh, you should be more unconditionally loving, you should just give because it feels good, and even though like we're telling ourselves this and we're in communities that support that, it doesn't really work. And if we don't acknowledge that we're feeling kind of iffy about it or weird about it, what's going to happen is those feelings are just going to bubble up and they could get repressed, and this can turn into a big anger lash out, which is not always fun to deal with the aftermath of that. It can also lead to resentment and bitterness and just downright frustration. So, if you can admit that you're human and that you have feelings, and that sometimes, even though you're being super awesome in your relationship, sometimes you may feel just a little burnt out and you wish that other people were as awesome as you were. If you can just admit that, then you're totally on your way to experience this deep, beautiful, and profound love in your relationships. Okay, so let's talk about boundaries again. Boundaries, these, we like to say that we want to love without them, but the thing is I'm in a body right now. You're in a body right now. And these bodies are what's allowing us to communicate. Right now I'm sharing something with you and you're receiving it, listening, interacting with it. And we wouldn't be able to do this in this way if we weren't here in the physical form in bodies. And yes, I know that we are all spiritual beings inside this human body. That is a total and complete truth for me. However, the key word is body. We have bodies, and it's very clear that you have your body and I have my body. My body carries different memories and experiences that I've had, and your body does that as well. And through acknowledging that I am me and you are you, we can acknowledge that we're separate from each other. And yes, we're all a part of the same thing. We're all one. I see myself in other people all of the time, and I'm always looking at how everything relates to everything else. And I can seriously go on and on about this, but for this particular moment, acknowledge that there's a boundary, a line between me and you. And in this boundary, this is the key to how you can experience amazing love. So what you get to do is tune in with what love looks and feels like to you. And don't use words like unconditional, limitless. Really tune into how you want to be treated and what you want to experience in your relationships. Because if you can do that, then you've set a boundary and you get to attract people according to that. And if you attract the opposite of that, then you get to set a boundary. You get to let people know how you would like to be treated, what is okay and what's not okay. It's completely okay to know who you are and what you would like to give and receive within a relationship and from another person. If you can start doing this for yourself and acknowledging your own desires, your own wants and needs, your boundaries, if you can do that, that is one of the most loving and healing things that you can do for yourself. And not just acknowledge it, but really put it forth into action. You will create so many beautiful things in your relationships. And guess what? You might even experience an aspect of unconditional love. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Lauren K. Wyatt of LoveRenegades.com.